All right, so go ahead and find a comfortable way to sit. Yeah, I like it. Get cozy. And if you're comfortable with your eyes closed, close your eyes. Hi, Sophie. And then just notice how you're doing. No need to do anything special with the body or the breath now. Just check in and see how you're feeling. And then let's see if we can find a way to sit that feels dignified. So to me, that means two things. One, steady, supported, really stable in our seat, unwavering. And also, though, a little ease, a little lightness, so that it's not to the point of rigidness, the stability. Instead, there's some sweetness, some softness, some enjoyment. And then once you have that feeling, then let's come back to noticing what's happening inside of the body. And particularly to start, notice if there's anything that you need to tend to. So anything that's uncomfortable in your body, could be energy levels, it could be an injury or some kind of discomfort. So having a little bit of tenderness and acceptance around that, if you notice it, if you are experiencing it. And also noticing parts of the body that feel really well and healthy this morning. Maybe you even feel some improvement in something that's been bothering you. So a little bit of gratitude for our body and the miracle of it, and that even when things aren't perfect and things might be going not the way we prefer physically, there are still many, many things happening in the body that are operating well, that are healthy. And then bring your awareness to your breath. So keeping it simple, as you breathe in, notice that you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, notice that you're breathing out.
Welcome to VoiceOver. VoiceOver speaks descriptions of items.
As you breathe in, allow the breath to go deep into your belly. And as you breathe out, allow the breath to leave your body slowly. Take a couple more big, deep breaths into your belly, feeling it expand on the inhalation. And relax inward on the exhalation. And then when you're ready, go ahead, let your eyes open. I don't know if you're hearing this, but the cat walked on the keyboard, the kitten, and then the kitten's trying to curl up with the dog who's growling about it, but I'll show you the kitten. I don't know if I've shown the kitten yet in class, but this is the best thing that's going to happen in class today. I hope he doesn't walk all over the keyboard again. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start today on all fours. So just sort of back to basics, doing some cats and cows. Find your way so that your wrists are more or less under your shoulders and your hips are over your knees, more or less. And then when you're ready with the breath, inhale, lift the chest and the sit bones. And exhale, push the floor away a bit, round through the spine. Enjoy a few of those. Take your time. And then when you've done about enough of those, let's come up to kneeling. So back on your shins. And let's do this first. Inhale both of the arms up. Grab hold of one elbow, it doesn't matter which one, and then just lift up a bit, get a little side stretch. And then both fingertips back up, and we'll do the second side. Good, and then both fingertips back up. Release the arms and stretch your right leg out. So you might have your blocks sort of nearby. Right now I'm starting, I've been talking, Lily, you probably have noticed a lot about internal and external rotation. So I don't want to beat that to death, but we're going to look at it from a couple of different poses today. So right now, if the sole of your foot is on the floor, so not your heel, but the whole sole of the foot, then that thigh is a little bit internally rotated, which is nice. I just to notice. Let's go ahead and roll on to the heel. So now we have external rotation, which is the one that I've been talking the most about. And then inhale the arms back up and bend the right elbow, stretch it a bit over, and then switch elbows and go ahead and lean over that leg. Last breath or so, if you like, straighten the arms, almost like triangle pose, kneeling. Take a big inhale. Good. And then walk the right leg back so that now the ankle is under the knee. You can bring your hands to your hips and send your hips back into a half squat. This is one of my favorites. I haven't done it in a while, but it's nice. You can sway a little bit back and forth. You could make circles. You could bring your hands to the floor to support that movement. All right, and then we'll come back to kneeling, back to Paritasana. This is gate pose. So starting with the internal rotation, so the sole of the foot is all the way on the floor and the toes are pointed forward. Just notice how that feels. And then roll the thigh out. So now the toes are pointed up. Inhale, the arms come up. We're going to go the awkward way first. So take hold of your left elbow and bend away from the leg. And then come back up. Take the other elbow and now bend towards the leg. This probably feels better. And then if you like, release the arms and take this kind of kneeling triangle pose type shape. Okay. We'll come back and then the ankle under the knee, hands to hips to start, and you can send your hips back into the half squat. Rock back and forth a little bit if you like. Some people will enjoy this more with blocks, with the hands under blocks, wherever your hands go comfortably, and then you can make circles. They could be big or small, or you could leave the circles out. Okay. Nice. And then let's come back to all fours. Slide the blocks out of your way and downward facing dog, hips up and back. Take your time, pedal out your feet. You can have some more side stretches here if that feels good by rocking from one side to the other side with your hips. Okay. Let's do three-legged dog. So step your left foot in towards the midline, lift your right leg up, straight up, hips are level more or less. And then with the ankle flex, go ahead and roll the right hip over the left hip. So you're opening up here. And then if you want to take it a step further, bend the knee, let the foot be nice and heavy. You might feel a stretch all the way through the inner core muscles on the right side. And then go ahead, straighten the leg, level the hips, place the foot down, and we'll do it on the second side. So I like for the standing leg to be a little bit towards midline because we're going to go into a line. When you're ready, the left heel lifts, turn the thigh out, bend the knee, take a couple of deep breaths. And then level the hips again, straighten the leg, release the foot, and then another breath or two in downward facing dog before we move on. Sweet, great. Okay, when you're ready, take a walk to the top of the mat and we'll meet up in Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Relax the head and the neck completely. You can place your fingertips in your elbow creases. Have a little bit of time there. Swinging if you like. Nodding the head yes and no. You can roll up if you have a nice healthy low back, or bring your hands to your outer hips with knees bent or straight and press through the feet, come all the way up to stand. Nice. Let's stand in Tadasana for a moment. Take your gaze to the horizon, soften the eyes, relax the shoulders. Then we'll begin our sun salutations. We'll take the first one or two nice and slow. So inhale in Tadasana. Exhale, hands to prayer pose, a little bit of a bow. Inhale, press through the feet, reach the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, bow all the way forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, step the right foot back, knee down, and bring your hands to your thigh. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. So see if you can find, again, I'm going to use this word like dignified a few times today. So what does that mean to you? Just to sort of, to me, it means proud without being haughty, but a sense of inner knowing and feeling at ease and in integrity with yourself. So with these little heart openers, sometimes we can access that feeling, steady and relaxed. Okay, there's going to be a lot of hips today. So let's continue with that. Go ahead and take your left foot out to your left. Some people are going to want to have blocks to bring their hands or elbows down onto, and then we're going to come to the inside of the leg. You can turn the thigh out, and then the toes will follow so that the toes are pointing off. They might even be off the sticky mat, mine are. And then come wherever you like. Maybe it's to hands. Maybe you're ready to come to your elbows or forearms with or without a block. For some people, including me, it feels really nice to rock onto the outer edge of the foot. Just see that your ankle doesn't sickle, so you're keeping that nice and engaged. Take a couple of breaths. Okay, and then go ahead, come back to center. Walk your foot back into its lane. And then let's step all the way back to plank. And we're going to come to the floor into Sphinx pose. So the elbows under the shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide. Ideally, your fingers are on the sticky mat because we're going to use that traction in just a moment. Roll your shoulders down your back. Look forward about 2 feet or so. And then let's do a few Sphinx roll-ups. So I think we've been doing these in class. I'll turn to the side. You can see better that way. So from Sphinx pose, on an exhalation, we'll draw the belly back towards the spine until the belly lifts, the hips lift, and then the thighs lift. And we end up in a forearm plank. And then inhale, lower the thighs, lower the belly, and then drag the sticky mat towards you as you lift the chest into Sphinx. Exhale, lift the belly, lift the hips, lift the thighs, push the floor away. Inhale, lower slowly, thighs, belly. Drag the sticky mat and finish your inhalation with Sphinx. A few more like this. Exhale, belly, hips, thighs. Push the floor away. Inhale, thighs, belly, and Sphinx. I'll be quiet now. You can go in your own time. Go to as many as so that you just start to feel a little bit like, okay, I'm starting to really work the core muscles here. I'm feeling that's happening. Not to your fullest extent, but just enough so that you know that you have engaged and woken up your core muscles. Also your arms, because your forearms are pressing down really firmly. So at that point, we'll stop and meet up in Sphinx. It's fairly hard. I think the Sphinx roll-ups they look like they're not hard, but they are. And then let's spend a couple of breaths in Sphinx so you can really adamantly spread the fingers and drag the sticky mat towards you to open your chest. And find that feeling of being stable and rooted and in your place, while also a little soft, open, receiving. Good. Last inhale. And then exhale, slide the hands back, tuck the toes. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Take 3 or 4 breaths. Good. Last big inhale. Last slow exhale. And then as you inhale, stretch the right leg up and back. Exhale, step it forward towards the top of the mat. Take as long as you need, as many steps as you need. And then we're going to meet in the low lunge with the knee down. This time, actually same thing. Hands to thigh, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. And you might feel a little bit kind of this lifting up through the pelvic floor as well. So if you bring your awareness to the base of the pelvis and lift, you might find a little more back bend. It kind of reverberates through the entire pose. We're going to come back to that in a little bit. And then let's come into lizard pose. So this hip stretch, bring your hands to the inside of the right foot, walk the right foot out to the right, turn the thighs out, the toes are going to follow, and then come to where it feels good so that you have a moderate amount of hip stretch. Take a few deep breaths. Good. Take your time. Walk the right foot back. Bring the hand on the other side. Inhale, straighten the back leg. Exhale, step forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fall. Release your spine. Inhale, press through the feet, sweep the arms up, reach overhead. Exhale, release the arms. Inhale, be here. Exhale, hands together, center of the heart. Inhale, reach and stretch the arms up and overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, this time step your left foot back, knee down. Inhale, fingertips up, lift the front of the pelvis, lift the chest. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, step to plank. And one more time, we're gonna come all the way to the floor and do something together. So back into Sphinx. Find your Sphinx pose, drag the sticky mat back, lift the chest. And then take your left hand, turn it 90 degrees so it's right underneath your collarbones. And then bend the right knee, reach back, grab hold. It might be the outer foot you grab. If you can, grab the inner foot, grab the inner foot. And then roll your right ribs back parallel with your left ribs. Press through with the left forearm so that you get nice and tall and lifted. And then if you're pretty much like, this is the right amount of stretch, moderate, not too much, not too little, stay exactly where you are. We're not coming into Dhanurasana. Instead, we're bringing the foot down. So the foot's coming down, not up. So you can press the foot down towards your hips. And the elbow, if you have the inner arch, is going to come in towards your ribs. And now you can begin to bring the elbow up so that the fingertips are reaching towards your knee. And then again, level your ribs again. So you're looking back at the floor. Another decision point here. Do you feel like this is the right amount of stretch? The hand variation that I'm about to walk you through is a little bit complicated. So if you don't get it the first time, don't worry. That's why I'm going to teach it a few times in a row. So if you want to go a little bit further, the pose is called Bekasana or frog pose. We're going to bring the elbow in towards the ribs again. Now the fingertips are pointing away from you. And you're going to grab hold of the toes with your palm and rotate so that your elbow is pointing straight up. And then again, rolling the right ribs down. It's a very, very deep shoulder stretch. So, you know, not for everyone, not for every day. And then to come out, take your time, elbow comes in, slowly release the foot, back to Sphinx pose. If you want to take kind of a relaxed Sphinx pose this time and drop into your shoulders, you can. Feels good. Doesn't always have to be the most adamant version of every pose. We can take it a little bit differently. Then before we do the second side, do come back into a nice established Sphinx pose. And I will demonstrate again from this side that progression with the hands, which again, just stop when you get to the moderate stretch. It's not, one is not better than the other. The whole point is just to stretch your shoulder. So get off the train when it feels right. We're going to turn the right hand underneath the collarbones, bend the left knee, reach back. And for a lot of folks, just grabbing hold of the foot is going to be plenty. Some people will even grab hold of their yoga pants or something else if the foot's not quite available. And then we'll roll the hand to the inner arch if you still have some room to go. Keep pushing into your forearm. Stay here or begin to bring the elbow in towards the ribs by drawing the foot towards your hip. Roll the ribs back. That's when I roll the ribs back, that's when I start to know, okay, is this far enough? Is it not far enough? If you want to go a little bit more, then we're going to bring the elbows, or the elbow, there's only one, straight up. And this is a pretty good spot for a lot of people. The Bekasana, if you want to play around with this kind of tricky hand variation, it does open the shoulder up in a different way. Then bring the elbow back and towards the ribs. We're going to kind of grab hold of the toes as we roll the elbow up. And then re-center the ribs. Take a breath wherever you are. Probably everyone is in a pretty deep stretch by now. And then slowly take your time. Elbow comes in. If you have that grip, we'll all release the foot and then push back. Let's come to all fours first. Pretty big back bend, and then you can shift your hips from side to side. When you feel neutral and your back feels good, everything feels good, then take your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Take 3 or 4 deep, deep breaths. I think that's about right. So when you're ready, inhale, stretch the left foot up and back behind you. Exhale, step it towards the top of the mat. Inhale, come into your lunge with the right knee down. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, straighten the back leg. Exhale, step forward, top of the mat. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, press through the feet, bend the knees if you like, feels good, and then sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, release the arms. We'll do 2 more sun salutations, this time just flowing, not worrying about too much. Inhale, be here in Tadasana. Exhale, hands together, center of the heart, a little bit of a bow. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. That's it. Exhale, bow forward over your legs. Inhale, bring your body halfway up. Exhale, step the right foot back. This time the knee can be up if you like, and inhale into the high lunge. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, step to plank, and whatever you'd like to do, you could come halfway to chaturanga with or without the knees, or all the way to the floor with cobra. All really nice options. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale, reach the right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, bring it forward towards the top of the mat. Inhale, lift the fingertips, lift the chest. Nice, take your time. Exhale, hands come down, step forward, no rush. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press through the feet, sweep the arms, reach overhead. Exhale, release the arms. Inhale, be right here. Exhale, hands together, center of the heart. Inhale, arms sweep up, reach overhead, lift the chest now. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, left foot back into the lunge. Inhale, fingertips up, lift the chest. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, as you wish, all the way, half the way with or without the knees, into a back bend as you inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale, stretch the left foot up and back. Exhale, step it forward, take your time. Inhale, fingertips up, lift the chest. Exhale, hands down, step forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, press through the feet, sweep the arms, reach overhead. Exhale, release the arms. Let's stand in Tadasana. So find a comfortable, steady, and dignified way to be in your body. Look at the horizon. Soften your eyes. Feel the back of your body so that you're coming into a position of receiving instead of projecting outward. And then if you like, close your eyes. Notice your body now. How are you doing? Okay, and then as you're ready, go ahead, let your eyes open. We'll do a few standing balances now. So shift the weight onto your right foot, bring your left foot up, and then turn it out. Grab the ankle and come into tree pose. So the foot is, it's good to wherever the foot wants to be. Maybe the toes are down or to the calf or up into the thigh, doesn't matter. It's definitely being on the hard floor is helpful. And if your balance is a little not so steady today, then take a gaze at the floor at a spot that's not moving. If you're feeling pretty comfortable in your stance, then take the gaze to the horizon. You can bring the arms up and overhead if you like. Feel your glute engage a little bit on the left side to keep that thigh turned out. And then bring your right thigh or your right hip in towards the midline. Okay, good. Let's bring it back to center. You can bring your hands to your hips for this. And then we're going to turn the thigh out again, but this time cross the ankle over the knee and send the hips back into a squat. You might keep your hands at the hips or to prayer. Maybe they come overhead like warrior three arms. There's lots of options. Also, the lower leg and the floor work well for people. Take 3 or 4 deep breaths, stretching the outer hip. Good. And then we're going to come up, stay in the squat though, and slide the left knee over the right knee. So a little bit of the opposite. Inhale, the arms come up. And exhale, bring the right arm under, let me just get this right. Left arm underneath right. Send the hips back, spread between the collarbones. Feel that stretch in the upper back. Good. All right. And then press through the feet, lift the elbows, release the arms, let it go. All right. So just shake it out, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. And we'll do the other side. So beginning with tree pose, coming into it with some intention around this topic of external rotation, just learning what that feels like in the body. So bringing the knee up, turning the right thigh out, and then we're already there. That's the pose. And you can grab hold of the foot and place it where you like. In tree pose, we're working the external rotator. So you can feel parts of the glute engage as you turn the thigh out and keep the knee sort of coming back behind you to some extent. And then the counter action to that is going to be bringing the left hip in towards the midline. So super engaged, really stable. Fingertips can lift up towards the ceiling. Take a couple of deep breaths. Find the appropriate gaze for you. My own personal intention right now is to continue to work on bringing my gaze towards the midline, towards the horizon, instead of dropping into certain tendencies I have around collapsing the gaze or being up in the clouds with the gaze, sort of either past ruminative tendencies or future-oriented daydreaming, and instead having a gaze that's straight ahead, present moment, receiving whatever's happening in my world, my surroundings. Okay, let's take the hands to the hips. We'll bring the knee out front again. And we're going to do that same external rotation, hook the elbow with a flexed ankle, send the hips back, except this time, now we're stretching instead of, there's no work to be done because the ankle's resting on the leg. So probably we're just getting a nice stretch of the same muscle group. And then where would you like to have your arms? They're all good. Okay. And then coming back up, Garudasana, eagle. So totally different. Now the top leg is internally rotating to cross over. We'll inhale the arms up and the left arm is coming over the right. If that's the same thing you did on the first side, I said it wrong. I got a little confused there because I'm mirroring and it's already opposite. So that's not so easy for my particular brain. Try and do the other side. Take a couple breaths wherever you are. And then press into the standing leg. Take your time. Unwind. Whew. All right, that's a lot. Now we're going to do dynamic twist. So arms are nice and floppy, toes out, heels in, and then just letting yourself move. There's nothing to worry about here, just tapping and swinging. Let that slow down and come back to stand in Tadasana. We're going to come through a sun salutations just to get to our standing poses. So feel yourself in Tadasana. Take a big inhale. Exhale, hands together, center of the heart, a little bit of a gratitude for whatever is. Inhale, press through the feet, reach the arms up, stretch overhead. Exhale, bow forward all the way down. Inhale, come halfway up, shoulders are out of the ears. Think about Sphinx pose here, little back bend. And then exhale all the way back to plank pose. You could go straight to downward dog or come through a vinyasa, or hold plank is one of my favorites. Very safe for the shoulders, very good for strengthening the entire front of the body. And then we'll meet in down dog. Take your time. As you inhale, stretch the right leg up and back. Exhale, bring it forward for warrior two sequence. So come on up. Okay. So here we are. Let's start with the hands on the hips. And then just an observation that, like we did when we did gate pose in the beginning and we were kneeling, we have this same external rotation in the front thigh. That's going to really engage and charge that side of the body. And then in opposition to that, a little bit of internal rotation here in the back. So the internal rotation might bring you a little bit forward. Ideally, the external rotation is going to bring you a little bit back. So you're really supported by the musculature of your legs and more or less upright. Take your gaze over your middle finger. Take a couple of deep breaths. See if you can feel this sense of dignity in your pose so that you are standing strongly with integrity. And also a sense of fluidity so that you are available for whatever is coming, adaptable. Gaze is soft and receiving the environment instead of projecting out into it. See about taking 3 or so more deep breaths. Then when you're ready, turn the right palm up. Let's inhale and enjoy a side stretch. Reach the fingertips. Exhale, side angle pose, Parshva If you have a block nearby, you can place it on the inside of the foot. And then we're going to do the arm variation, the sort of traditional one. So you can start with your fingertips reaching straight up towards the ceiling, turn the palm in the direction of your head, and then reach the arm overhead so that your upper arm is over your ear. So your shoulder here is really strongly flexed. That's it. That looks great, Lily. Any amount. If you draw your belly back towards your spine, you might be able to rotate the left chest open a bit more. Maybe the gaze naturally drifts up, or maybe it feels better to have it straight ahead. How's the engagement of the legs? Sometimes after the transition, I know for myself, most of the time, whatever it was that I'd set up and established, I lose track of. So see about getting, again, that feeling of really engaging the outer glutes of the front leg, the external rotators, as well as the internal rotators in the back leg. Another breath or so. Reach the fingertips away from you. Nice. Press to the feet. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Establish yourself in the warrior two. And then inhale, straighten the front leg. Whew. Okay. Let's take the block outside of the foot if you're using it. And we're going to come into triangle pose. So if you need to adjust your stance in any way, do that. I'm taking a little bit of a modification for my ankle, lifting the toes. And then when you're ready, inhale, lift the arms. Take a moment here before we go in, find the external rotation. And when you do that, you might even feel your pelvis already tilting. And then engage the back thigh, internally rotate, get really long. And then the fingertips can come to the block. I prefer outside of the leg. You can press in there and rotate your ribs open, maybe look up, if that's the direction that the head and neck feel good in. If they don't, then look straight ahead, or even better, towards the big toe. So no tension in the neck. Okay. If you'd like another standing balance, then you can join me. If you want to stay in triangle pose or go back to warrior two, or even head on back to down dog or child's pose, feel free. If you'd like to come into, this is the last standing balance that we'll do, other than the other side. So if you want to come, look forward, come onto the balls of your feet in the back, and begin to shift your weight. You can take as many steps as is comfortable. It might be that you're coming in and out, or you keep the leg nice and low, or reach strongly out through the heel. Roll your torso open, roll your hips open for Ardha Chandrasana. Okay. Nice. Okay, that looks great. Let's slowly, slowly, slowly step back. We'll meet in warrior two. Really establish your warrior two. Be there for a moment. And then as you're ready, on an exhalation, bring the hands down. Step back to plank, or go straight to downward facing dog. Or maybe it's time to take a little rest in child's pose. The vinyasa, of course, is always there for you. Let's rest for 3 or 4 breaths before we move on to the second side. It's a lot of work, I know, the standing poses being there that long, especially with all of that awareness of really using the muscles to hold us there can be a lot. So it can be tiring. As I've heard after some classes I've taught in person recently, I'm teaching the same classes, and I've had some people come out after and say, oh God, I'm going to be very sore tomorrow. So if you're feeling that, it's totally normal. All right, so let's have the second side now. Inhale, stretch the left leg up and back. Exhale, we'll come on into warrior two. Take your time, you can get your blocks ready. We're definitely, we can use them. And then starting just with the arms down so that we can adjust ourselves and recall the skills. So the first one is really getting adamant about the external rotation in the front leg. So it doesn't move much, but there's a little bit there. Your hip crease is going to get deeper. This will tend to pitch you forward. We need to balance that by the internal rotation in the back to bring the pelvis back upright so that both are happening. And then when you feel that nice, stable, steady, centered, inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, bend the left knee over the little toe side of the foot. Keep that external rotation super strong. With that solid base, look out over your middle finger, soften the eyes, and receive in the environment. Be ready, but not reactive. Two or three more breaths, softening the gaze, long gaze all the way out. Take in your surroundings. Then when you're ready, turn the left palm up, reverse the warrior, get a nice long side stretch. And exhale, come forward for side angle pose. Side angle pose, I prefer the block on the inside of the leg so that I can use the elbow to keep drawing that knee back over the little toe side of the foot. And then I'm going to go over the arms. Fingertips start straight up. The hand turns in the direction of the head, and then reach the fingertips strongly away from the outer edge of the back foot so that the upper arm's over the ear. Yep. And then the belly back towards the spine just a little bit, and maybe you roll your right ribs back a little bit more. The head may or may not want to follow. Relax the neck wherever you end up. Take a few deep breaths. And then again, like I said on the first side, once we move into a different pose, it's really easy to lose the technique or the skills that we're learning. So see about the external rotation, you'll feel your glutes engage. The internal rotation, you'll feel your inner thighs engage. Reach strongly through the fingertips. All right, inhale, come on back to warrior two. Be there for a moment. And then inhale, straighten the front leg. Relax the arms. We're coming to triangle pose, but just take a deep breath first. So whenever you're ready, we'll inhale the arms back up. Same thing. The external rotation in the front leg is going to pitch you forward, which is good because in triangle pose, that's where we're going. And then internally rotate to support the back of the pose. Stretch the fingertips away from you. And then this time I like the hand on the outer side of the foot so that you can lean back into it to open the chest. Nice. When done in this way, triangle pose becomes very open and not so much a side bend, instead this big opening through the whole front and back of the body, which I like the feel of. Not everybody does it this way, but I like it. That looks beautiful. All right. So here we are with this decision point about One last standing balance. We sure have done a lot today. I know I can feel it in my body. If you want to look forward, and then I'm going to keep it simple. We're just bringing the weight forward. The block in the hand come underneath the shoulder, so forward. The back leg is really going to stretch out away from you. Maybe fingertips reach towards the ceiling. Mm-hmm. All right. And then slowly, with control, step back. We'll meet up in Warrior Two. Please establish your Warrior Two and come back into that engagement that we've been talking a lot about. Inhale the breath. Exhale, hands down in between, on either side of your foot. Step back. There's Vinyasa if you want it, or go straight to downward facing dog. We'll take 5 or 6 breaths and then shift into a little more soothing, relaxing part of class. Well, we're going to do one more hard thing, but we're going to do it with ease, I hope, and a sense of lightness. Okay. Come to your knees. And if you have a bolster nearby, then have your bolster nearby where you can grab it. And if you don't, that's okay. We can use blocks. So let's come up. We're going to do one really gentle camel pose. So bring your hands to your sacrum, roll your shoulders back, draw your elbows together. And then with the heels of your hands, draw the back of your pelvis down towards your knees. And then from there, roll the shoulders back and just keep it nice and gentle. Look straight ahead. And then inhale and come back to center. Okay, I'm going to do pigeon pose with the back bend. So you could sit on, if you have a bolster, what I really like to do is have the bolster level and have both of my hips on it like this. But if you don't have a bolster, then you can use blocks or blankets to support yourself. Just one-sided unilaterally is fine. So let's do that. However you get there is fine. You could come through down dog or through all fours. We'll start with the right leg forward. And just make sure that if you don't have the bolster under both hips, I think Lily, you do, but if you're watching the recording, and Sophie, I can't see you, so I don't know, then just make sure that that right hip is supported. It's not hanging out in space. And for people who have knee issues that this doesn't work, I'd like actually for you to repeat Ustrasana, the camel pose that we just did, and then do figure 4 on the floor so that you get all the elements of the pose that we're about to do. So you'll notice here that the front leg is strongly externally rotated. Now, go ahead with your back foot. See where you can see this a little bit at least. With your back foot, you're going to tuck the toes, lift the knee, and then roll the thigh inward to support you a little bit more. Mm-hmm. All right, and then blocks. Have them by your feet or your hips. As high as you like. The higher, the more of a back bend. So we did Sphinx pose. So it's basically Sphinx pose. We're going to roll the shoulders back, lift the chest up, and then lift through the pelvic floor. And you might lift up off your bolster a bit so that you're really in this dignified, beautiful back bend. In Sanskrit, this is called Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. The Raja means royal. It's translated sometimes as king, but it's a royal pose. So really dignified and charged, in integrity with whatever it is that are your beliefs and intentions. You could bend the back knee, reach back and grab hold of the foot. I'm not going to do that, but it's available. Yeah, you can. Nice. That's it. And then when you're there, see about, because just like when we did the frog pose, the ribs turn back, see about centering them again, and then rolling the chest up, shoulders down one more time. Good. Whew, all right, that's probably about enough. Take a last inhale, and then slowly take your time. I would prefer that we not go back right into the forward fold. Instead, step back either to all fours or downward facing dog. And we will prepare for the second side. Whenever you're ready. Left foot comes forward. Make sure that your left hip is supported. And then we're going to take the right toes, tuck them. Probably the thigh bone is a little bit tilted outward. So we're going to roll that thigh bone in towards the midline. That will help support the pose. It's the same concepts over and over. The internal rotation in the back leg, external rotation in the front leg. And then with the blocks, at any height, roll your shoulders back. Lift the pelvic floor up. Everything gets long, expansive. The whole front of the body is open. Gaze can be right at the horizon. Finding this royal feeling, royal pigeon, very dignified, upright, possessed, self-possessed. If you want to bend the back knee and grab hold of the foot, you're welcome to. And then let's just take 4 or 5 breaths. That's the way. Good. Last inhale, it's probably good. And then exhale, go ahead, step back. It's the last down dog, last chance that you might take a vinyasa if you want to. Maybe it's just me, but my energy is not at 1,000,000 vinyasas today. Yours might be. Good. All right. And then let's sit back on the heels just for a moment, and we'll have a little bit of a body scan here. So you can place your hands on your thighs. If you're comfortable with your eyes closed, close your eyes. Take a soft gaze. And notice how you're feeling now. What are the sensations in your body? What is the residue of your practice? And go ahead and let your eyes open. Let's do some seated forward folds. So I recommend, as always, sitting up on a little bit of height. This is a small bolster. You might have a big one or a folded blanket. And we'll start with Baddha Konasana, so the soles of the feet are together. You can have your thumbs in the big arches. And then give your feet a little bit of a massage. Arches of the feet get massaged with the thumbs and the toes. You can even bring your fingers in between your toes. Give them some love, affection. And when you are pretty good with that, whenever you're ready, inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, feel your pelvis roll over the heads of your femur bones. So that action first. And then relax the spine, relax the jaw. Let everything come on down. And then slowly walk your hands back. You can use your hands to support your legs as they come together. We'll have one more seated forward fold. I like Upavishta Konasana, which is the legs wide. If you prefer Paschimottanasana with the legs straight out in front of you, then please feel free to do that. Just something symmetrical. And then when you're ready, inhale, the arms come up, same thing. Start by rolling your hips. And then when that doesn't go further, then relax the arms, let the spine round. If you can, rest your head on a block or two or a bolster if that's accessible. Please do. All right, and then take your time, walk your hands back. Place your hands on your inner knees and support the legs to come back in. Let's come down to our backs. We're going to do one or two finishing poses and then Shavasana. So whatever it is that you want for Shavasana, if it's more layers, blankets, anything like that, then grab that now. And then meet me in constructive rest. So lying down on your back with your feet at least mat distance apart. So nice and wide and the knees together. So this is a little bit of the opposite of what we've been doing or what we've been focused on anyway. Eyes rolling in, take a breath or two. And then bring your arms out into a T. If you wanted to, you could stay right here. It might feel really, really good. Or join me in windshield wipering. So knees to one side and then over to the other side. The next time that the legs are to one side or the other, go ahead and stay. If you want to place the front ankle over the back ankle, the front ankle over the back knee, you can do that to deepen the stretch. That will feel good for some people. If you have that hook, go ahead and release it. And then we're going to take the back knee over the front knee and then just come into a deeper reclined spinal twist. So set yourself up. The knees definitely don't need to stack, and you could keep them crossed. Whatever is best. Sweet, good. All right, and then come back to center. Back to the constructive rest with the legs. So feet wide, knees together. And then they're going to come over to the second side. And we'll do that stretch first. If you want to hook the front ankle over the back knee, you can do that. And then we'll move into a twist. So unhook the knee if you have it. The knees come towards each other and then up closer towards the chest into recline twist. All right, and then go ahead, bring your knees back up to center. Hug your knees in towards your chest. And then anything that feels good here. You can make circles around the sacrum, rock side to side. And begin in your own time to make your way to Shavasana. We got out a lot of props. So if you want to support your knees with a bolster or blankets, feel free to. Make any adjustments so that you're completely comfortable. Allow the front of your body to release towards the back of your body. The back of your body to release towards your support. Allow the front of your brain to release to the center of the brain. Shavasana. Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Bring your awareness back into the room. Make any movements with your body that would feel good to transition. Perhaps wiggling your fingers or your toes, rotating your wrists or your ankles. And then as you're ready, bend the knees one at a time. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Take your time, roll to one side, have a breath or two there. And then when you're ready, use your hands and come up to sit. Like you can have your hands together at the center of the heart. Let's take one last moment together to feel the body. Notice the effects of the practice. Have you cultivated any new sense of ease, strength, dignity, really any positive sense at all? If so, then allow that sense of well-being to seep into every cell of your body. As you inhale, lift the chest into the thumbs. And as you exhale, surrender the head to the heart. Inhale, lift the chin, release the palms, and allow the eyes to open. Thank you, Lily, for coming.
Thank you, Katie. That was wonderful.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'll
Good.
see you next week. Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, I'm here Thanksgiving morning if you're feeling like 9:30. And then,
Lovely.
yeah, and then actually, so that the next few Thursdays I have to miss because I'm traveling with uncertain internet. But
Okay.
but I'll be here Thursday morning, 9:30.
Excellent. Good.
Okay.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.